Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's Age Got to Do with It, a webinar for mature learners hosted by The Right Site. So, the title for this webinar is a play on Tina Turner's comeback song, What's Love Got to Do with It? When Tina Turner recorded that song, she was the oldest female performer to ever top the charts at age 44. Tina Turner, a single mother of color, living in poverty, became a superstar at this age, and she would go on to earn 8 Grammys, sell 150 million records, become the first female black artist to appear in Rolling Stone magazine, and at the age of 49 set a Guinness World Record for the largest paying audience by performing to 188,000 people. Not bad for a person who started a new career in her 40s. She is the muse for this webinar, so know that it's never too late to return to school. So what does mature mean in an academic sense? It describes the learner who is a person who took a break from studies for a reason, personal, financial, travel, a student who may have partially completed studies from previous years, who is outside the 18 to 28-year-old demographic, or returning to graduate studies after time away. It's important to embrace your maturity because it's an asset that sets you apart. You have a knowledgeable perspective because that time away, you gained life experience. This is incredible knowledge. Know that there is no straight path, no right way to getting a degree. It doesn't have to be high school. At 18, go to university, 22, get your bachelor's, and then your master's, and so on. And there is no ideal university student. You don't have to be 18 to be a university student. Everything worked out the way it should have. Accept and celebrate who you are and what you've accomplished. Don't look at your past as a failure or not getting it right. That time off gave you valuable work and life experience that's shaping the way that you view the world. It positively influences your writing. It provides you with a more mature scholarly voice. Your life experience is something that you can draw from in your writing. You have an understanding of professionalism as you may have been in the workforce. As a mature learner, you are also choosing your own direction and not doing what's expected of you as a younger person may do. This allows you to pursue what you're passionate about. You wouldn't take on the emotional, financial, and academic workload of a degree if it wasn't going to end up being something that you cared about. Mature learners face unique challenges. So, what has changed since you were last in school? Documentation styles may have changed. You may have been doing APA 5 and now it's APA 7, which means you have a whole new set of rules that you need to learn. But library and the Right Site are two places that can help you practice that. Writing formats have changed. So now maybe you're writing more digital formats like wikis and discussion forums and blogs. Technology has changed. And now there's kind of an assumed digital literacy that you should have. Internet, email, know how to use Word, know how to use PowerPoint. But you're also going to be using a learning platform, and you'll have to learn how to navigate that. Academic integrity is a real issue now, probably more so than before, because on the internet you can purchase essays and repurpose them as your own, and all these different ways of conducting plagiarism. And now, of course, we also have AI and ChatGPT. And getting used to online learning is different. It's very attractive. It's so flexible. You can choose your own hours. You don't have to commute. You don't have to pay for parking. But you also have to be good at time management. Learn how to pace yourself asynchronously and learn how to do exams from a distance. Add this to the life of a mature learner, being a parent, organizing childcare, school drop-off and pickup, caring for aging parents, family extracurriculars, cleaning your house, maintaining repairs, working on the family budget, managing bills, tuition, balancing work, study, and family commitments, pets, religious, social, activist commitments, A mature learner has complex responsibilities. And one result could be academic anxiety. This is another thing that a mature learner has to contend with. Could be from a pressure to achieve a specific GPA. Let's say you want to get into a graduate program and there's a criteria there that you have to meet. Maybe the course end date is nearing and you're not ready for it. Time constraints, stress about being a mature learner, and of course, financial stress. Reading an assignment workload, how do you fit that all in when you're so strapped for time? Returning to school can also reveal barriers to learning that may have gone unnoticed. So this could be something like reading processing issues or difficulties with reading and writing, or perhaps ADHD. Perhaps you were diagnosed as an adult, or perhaps you have traits consistent with ADHD: inattention, struggling with organization, feeling overwhelmed by the big assignment and not knowing how to break it down into achievable chunks, anxiety and depression, different learning styles. All of these things can interfere with learning. And same as imposter syndrome, which is a cycle of anxiety that where you may feel you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not equipped for university, and that can become a very destructive cycle and a barrier to learning. Add to that intersectionality and emotional tax. Intersectionality means the interconnected nature of gender and race, class, ability, and age. You may identify with one or more of these groups that contribute to marginalization. An emotional tax is the emotional toll of feeling different because of gender, race, class, age, or ability. Emotional toll can result in burnout, compassion caregiver fatigue, physical illness, substance abuse, feelings of discouragement, thoughts of leaving school. Mature learners wear a lot of hats, from student to parent to chef to chauffeur. Multiple roles with multiple responsibilities can be very challenging. But don't despair. Supports and organization can help. So let's get organized and start by organizing your support system. Let's look at how the university can support you. For instance, at AU, there are numerous services available to you as you navigate your university experience. Each faculty has academic advisors who can help you with program planning. Accessibility Services provides accommodations and supports for students with disabilities. We would love to see you at the Right site. You can upload assignments to our Dropbox, and a writing coach will work with you on your areas of concern. AU Wellness is for mental health concerns related to academic performance. Note that Counseling Services is for career advice. IT Help Desk for tech concerns. Nuxcatewin is a support service for Indigenous students. AU Librarians can help you figure out databases to find research for your papers. Exam Services to organize your exams, and AU Financial Aid and Awards. Here you can find ways to financially support your education through awards, bursaries, grants, and scholarships. It's also important to know the system of people at AU so you know who to go to for support. Your first point of contact will be the person providing you with grades. So this could be an individualized or group study tutor. Now at Athabasca, they use tutor, not in a traditional way, which could mean a peer tutor, someone also at the undergraduate level or graduate level. This is a person who is usually an assistant or associate professor, a PhD, who is leading the course. Individualized means you're pacing your own course. Group study, you're part of a cohort. You may also, instead of a tutor, you might have someone called a subject expert, content expert, academic instructor, or a coach. You may be in a program that also has a practicum or placement coordinator. And you might also be part of quite a big course where there is a course lead, but you deal mostly with a teaching assistant. From there, The academic coordinator is the person who runs the course. So this is the person you might want to go to if you have a course issue like wanting to appeal a grade. And then there's the program director or chair, and this person runs the program. And then from there, we have the administrative levels of the deans, the vice presidents, and the president. Don't be afraid to contact your tutor if you need clarity, extra resources, or an extension. This is your degree. You're putting your money into this experience. So if you need to advocate for your learning, don't be shy. Also be realistic. You may need to consider a course extension, and that link will help you learn more about that. And of course, you can also come to the right site for help with assignments. Next, you want to organize your personal support. So at home, delegate tasks. Who can you go to? Make sure you've got childcare organized. Do you have a trusty and friendly reader? And share your study schedule, study space and times with your family. Communicate when you're unavailable and need to focus. At work, tell your superior about your school plans, maybe even share exam and deadline schedules, because they may need that if they're planning shift work. Organize accessibility support. So if you are registered with accessibility services, get started organizing those accommodations and technologies, anything that factors your needs into planning so you can have a successful course. Next, you want to organize your schedule. Having a calendar system that you will use faithfully will really help you feel on top of things. First, get an infinity calendar. By this I mean an online calendar that goes infinitely into the future. This way you can put future dates in there, even if they extend past the year you are currently in. Then have a portable calendar. This could easily be the same calendar, but just on your phone, and that's great. Or you can get a physical planner, but you just want something that you can take with you and that you will realistically use. If working in print, consider coming up with a legend like they do with the bullet journal system. Bullet journals are a brand of agendas where you employ this legend to organize tasks like X for task completed or an arrow for task you're rescheduling. You can also come up with a color-coded system that you can use in all of your academic tasks, from pens and highlighters and sticky notes to online fonts and highlighters. Make sure both online and physical items follow the same system so it becomes automatic. For instance, red for deadlines, green for research, purple for read or to read, blue for questions. Now you want to manage your courses. So look at the course syllabus and deadlines. Enter those into your calendar, as well as readings, discussion forums, presentations, Zoom classes. And do this for every course. Always plan for more time. Don't schedule yourself down to the second because you're not giving yourself any wiggle room. You might also want to keep a notebook by your bed. This way, if you get an idea in the middle of the night, you aren't interrupting your sleep by turning on your phone. You can just jot it down and deal with it in the morning. To figure out how long you need for certain tasks, you can use an assignment calculator. Here's a link to one, for example. So what you do is you would log on, you would enter in your assignment type, let's say research paper, you'd enter in your deadline. It'll then break the paper down into all the tasks you need to do to complete a research paper, and it'll give you deadlines for each of those tasks. So if you're in a course where the course isn't giving you deadlines, it's up to you to complete the course in 6 months, but when you do it is up to you. Using an assignment calculator can help you come up with realistic deadlines, which is very helpful. And in your planning, make sure to plan for days where you don't want to do it. You have events, you have flu season. For instance, I recently was planning on doing some coursework on Halloween, but realistically, I'm not going to get anything done that day. I have kids. It's a very busy day. And so you just have to acknowledge the realities of certain days that you're not going to get something done. And just don't schedule something on there and to give yourself that extra pressure. Next, you want to organize your folders. Save everything. So you might want to start with the program, the year, and then the course. Inside the course, you might want to have folders for assignment, notes, discussion, lectures, lesson notes, communication with your tutor. I mean, look at your syllabus. You might have a whole bunch of different, tasks that you have to do or places to go to find readings. Make folders for all of those. And then for the assignment, have folders for each assignment with the instructions, brainstorming, research outline, drafts, marked feedback, and save all of this. You want to save it for a couple of reasons. Maybe going forward, you want to focus research on something. You may want to do a graduate degree on a topic you did an assignment on. Now you still have all this information here that you could use. Or you may want to appeal a grade, and so keeping a good record of your activity in the course can help you. You also want to organize your notes. So for instance, you could use an online app like Evernote, where you can copy and paste course content, links and images into Evernote. Typing might be more efficient than handwriting. And then organize notes into folders. And so that way, that mimic the folder system that you have for your computer. And that way everything is really automatic and easy to find. You can also create task lists, checklists in Evernote, which might be another helpful tool for you. If you get to a course where you have to do a lot of research, then organizing the literature through a citation manager is a good idea. Two examples are Zotero and Mendeley. And so what they do is you have like this little extension to your web browser. And so if you're reading online an article that you like, you click on the extension, it saves it to your citation manager. And then when you go into your citation manager, like this is mine that I have here, I have my folders on the left and I have my articles on the right. I can just sort them into the folders where I want to put them. I can also open up the article in Zotero and I can highlight quotes, which makes it easy to find them later. They are very complicated though, realistically, so I highly suggest that you use an AU library guide to help you through the process because they can be a bit tricky. And you're certainly not alone if you find it frustrating. But once you get the hang of it, it's so handy to have one of these. You now need to organize your study space. And ideally, your study space will have a door, and sometimes that may not be realistic because your study space is going to be your kitchen table. But do try, if you can, to have a door just to separate yourself from the rest of the house. Having a window will make it less depressing. And just make sure you have an ergonomic setup, chair, footrest, the screen, just so you're not going to hurt your body if you have to sit there for a couple of hours. Have chargers there. Have all those supplies all ready to go. Pen, paper, sticky notes. It may just be the case where you have to put all that stuff in a bucket and put it under the table. And when it's study time, you put your bucket back on the table and all your stuff is there. But you just don't want to have to go around searching for all these things when you're trying to study. And you want to choose a space that's reliable, always available. That's why the kitchen table is not ideal because we have to clear it off to eat there. But if that is your world, then put your things in buckets and just put them to the side so that it's easy to clean up and then easy to kind of bring back to the table. You want to have minimal distractions. Sometimes that means maybe pets need to stay out, or maybe pets staying in is a good idea. It depends on your pet. But you also want to have good lighting. Maybe you need to put some white noise on, earphones in, listening to something to drown out. Maybe there's a TV going on in the background. Having a plant can be kind of just, optimistic to have in the room. You also want to organize your study time. So when is your brain most awake? Are you an early riser or are you a night owl? What is a feasible time for a session? 3 hours is good, 4 hours is too much? Which days of the week work best for you and what time of day? What's really important here when you're choosing a study time is that you want consistency. You want to be working out at the same ideally at the same time in the same space, just to reduce distractions. So you have to really know yourself. And if that means that, you know what, I am not a morning person and I just need to own that, then that means just don't try and give yourself the pressure of working out, of not working out, of studying first thing in the morning. Maybe that's something that needs to happen later in the day. So being realistic will avoid you feeling like, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't show up for myself. I wasn't this amazing scheduled person. It's just that it's just not working for you. So you have to think about what is realistic. Now, chronotypes. Obviously, people can't be categorized into four different areas, but just generally thinking about the different schedules that some people can follow. Chronotypes are a topic that appears in sleep therapy research and personality psychology. So we start with the bear. This is a very moderate individual who gets up with the sun and goes to bed with the sun. And they're usually productive in a 9 to 5 kind of way. And they like to socialize a little bit in the evening, but they like their sleep. And then there's lions, who are morning people. And these are the people who get up at 5 a.m. And they are very productive and really awake until about noon, and then sleep time. And these are not the people who do great with evening classes or evening commitments because they've been up since 5 in the morning. Wolves, I don't know why they didn't choose night owls, but anyways, wolves are opposite. They come alive at night, 8 p.m. onwards. But it's interesting about lions and wolves is they're really kind of the same. They like to work while the world is sleeping. So they really benefit from silence. Now, then there are dolphins. Dolphins mean that you're kind of a morning person and a night owl. And maybe this means because you have little kids at home, but it can be a strenuous schedule, which results in limited sleep. So my advice in this situation is, of the morning and the night routine, which one do you like just that little bit more? And if you just prefer the nights, then just transition to being a wolf because you'll have much improved sleep. Now, of course, chronotypes and realities may not match. If you do shift work, for example, or if you're up with a sick kid at night. If we have to work during a time that is not ideal, you want to keep your study time shorter, lower your expectations, keep it to 1 or 2 simple tasks to prevent feeling overwhelmed. You need to acknowledge, I am not at my best right now. I am battling fatigue. So even if I put the title of the essay on the paper and that's all I do today, that's something. You need a title. But don't create big expectations when your body is already in a battle with fatigue. So now let's talk about what I think is the most important part, and that is organizing your mind. First, we need to start valuing breaks. Knowing when you work best means working more efficiently, and as mature learners, we simply don't have time to waste. Part of efficient studying is efficient breaking. So breaks can help manage that cognitive load that we talked about earlier. The Pomodoro technique is one example of managing breaks. So here you work for 25 minutes, then you take a 5-minute break. You do that 3 times. Then you work for 25 minutes with a longer break, 20 minutes, and then you start it over again. And you can obviously come up with your own minutes. It doesn't have to be 25 and 5. But the point is that you're just getting up and out of your chair. You're getting the blood flowing. You're processing what you're learning. And even in those 5 minutes, you're still studying because you're thinking about what you're doing. Maybe you do pre-writing in your head. So when you come back after 5 minutes, you can jot something down. It just gives your brain a little bit of a rest. Schedule 1 day off per week where you do nothing school related. Just spend time with your family, sleep in, clean your house, whatever you need to do that's not related. And in fact, what you're doing is investing in your school because let's say you take Sunday off, when you return on Monday, you're going to have that much more focus. You're going to feel a little bit more rejuvenated and you're going to be more productive. Avoid long study sessions, these like 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. sessions, because it's not going to result in good work. You're going to be fighting increased fatigue the longer that you sit there, and it's just going to impact your studies. So pay attention to your body's signals: yawning, distractibility, eyes blurring together, restless legs. It's an indication that you need a break. And this is a form of self-care. It prevents burnout. You will be much more efficient. And think about an athlete. An athlete does not work out 7 days a week. They take a day or two off to do physio, to rest their muscles. Otherwise, they're going to just destroy their bodies. What can happen is if we grind too hard, we hit a point where we think we have writer's block. I don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm writing. But writer's block is biological. This means that your body is out of rhythm and your nervous system needs to be regulated. And so ways that you can do that are go outside and get some fresh air, drink water, take a nap, eat, exercise, meditate, take a shower, socialize, laugh, even looking at Instagram for 5 seconds, seeing a little dog with playing with a duck, something like that can just help restart your brain. But sometimes if we've pushed ourselves too far, we need to do something a little bit more long, like a little bit more extreme. We might need to take off a day or two. But if you have that personality to keep grinding and pushing, you're going to find that you get to a point where you're going to need a lot of time off to recover from a session like that. So just try and be a little bit more moderate with the amount of work that you're putting in. And, at the end of 2 or 3 hours of studying, that's plenty. Do you really need to do more than that? In that one session? Probably not. So this is kind of what we're talking about in terms of boundaries, having boundaries with yourself, that you're not going to compromise your own health by burning out. You might want to schedule the study time to make sure you're not interrupted. So that's a way of protecting your time in your calendar. Considering everything that you have on right now, if there's an event coming up that's going to be emotionally taxing, maybe reconsider that. Is that something you really need on top of everything else? It's okay to say no. Be choosy what you agree to. Make sure it fulfills you and not drains you. It can simply be an event that goes on too long or is too long of a drive. Will you have recharge time to compensate? And do you have time to do all that volunteering right now? Or maybe that's something that you need to do another time. And don't put yourself in the position of grinding away at schoolwork. Perfectionism and other practices that promote burnout, overwork, pressure, expectations. You have to be kinder to yourself and give yourself grace that done is better than perfect, and not to stress yourself out because the consequences could be catastrophic. So one way to do this is to learn how to turn the lights green. And by this, I mean being aware of cognitive distortions. These are the red lights. A cognitive distortion is something like all or nothing thinking. I'm a good writer, I'm a bad writer, no in between. Or catastrophizing. This is a disaster. I give up. Fortune telling. I'm going to fail this exam. Comparison. If I was younger, ... Disqualifying positives. I know I did well, but that was a fluke. These are all red lights that really reinforce negative thinking. So what we want to do is turn it around and focus on positive thinking. Green lights. So instead of I don't understand this, I don't understand it yet. I'm so behind. I need to revise my schedule. I am so overwhelmed. I need to take this one step at a time. Another way to think about this is turning fixed mindsets or red lights into growth mindsets or green lights. So with the issue of writer's block, you might think, I can't do this, but the growth mindset is to take a break and regulate the body. If you receive past negative feedback that has you feeling that you're a bad writer, tell yourself that was then, my thoughts are valuable now. Perhaps you're feeling unmotivated, I don't have what it takes. Rely on discipline and routine and create quick wins. You know what? I'm going to sit and I'm going to read for 10 minutes. That's what all I'm going to do today. Hey, 10 minutes is better than nothing. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I don't get this at all, then come to the right side and ask for help. If you're feeling intimidated or you're having regrets, I'm too old, why didn't I do this earlier? Remind yourself that this is something that you want. This is the right time in your life to do it, and I'm taking control of my life. If you fall behind schedule, just schedules are organic. Begin again. Perfectionism. I'm going to fail. This isn't good enough. Done is better than perfect. Tell yourself, I did my best. Give yourself grace. And if you get a grade lower than expected, this doesn't mean you're not smart, you're not cut out for this. It means it's one grade, one perspective. In the scheme of things, it's okay. Everyone has a bad grade. I have a bad grade. It happens. That happens. But that shouldn't derail your goals when you're going forward. Keep your eye on the prize. Remember the big picture of why you're doing this in the first place. You want to graduate, you want that degree so you can do whatever it is that you want to be doing. And so if we get really caught up in that, oh no, I have a bad grade, everything's over, just remind yourself that this is a process and you're moving forward with your life, and this is okay that this happened. Part of keeping that motivation is leaning on your supports. So let's talk about how we can help at the right site. First, we help students with all stages of the writing process, which includes planning, drafting, and polishing. So for instance, we help students understand their assignment instructions, come up with an outline, help them with their drafts, and then teach them how to edit and proofread their own work. You can meet with a coach, so you can submit your assignment to our Dropbox. You can also meet with us virtually through a Teams meeting. You can email us, or you can come to our weekly forum on Thursdays at 12:30 Mountain Standard Time, which is just an open forum for students to drop in, perhaps meet other students, and just ask general writing questions. We also have a blog, an English Grammar Handbook, our website, the English Language Assessment, and a monthly newsletter. And we have our webinar series. So upcoming webinars not mentioned here include awards writing and a webinar for learners with ADHD. But upcoming this fall, we have research-based webinars on keeping organized, literature reviews, and academic integrity. We have undergrad and graduate writing in the health disciplines, and webinars on MLA and APA, a webinar on grammatical errors, and our writing process series. So that series, which is 4 webinars, teaches you how to use the writing process, design that study space and routine, how to prepare the assignment, organize research, create an outline, use writing strategies, revise, edit, and proofread. And remember, your decision to be a mature learner is a huge accomplishment. So keep going, give yourself grace, and you will realize your goals.